How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to go and do another mission, another contract called Winter Stores on Black River, but I've got to take the maintenance trailer that's at the drilling site I built the other day over to Smithville, and then there's like a thing called a logistics base on like the top left-hand corner of Smithville. And yeah, what I did tonight, I've been messing around doing a couple of different things and tests and all sorts tonight. I went and grabbed the ANK from Pedro Bay, and yeah, made this mission overall, I mean, less than 17 minutes, and you'll see a few of the little bits of little hiccups in between, but yeah, overall, I mean, this thing's motoring along pretty nicely. I've been testing a couple of things, because I said the other day that you can't go onto any of the maps until you completed certain contracts, etc. And it's true for some cases, but it's not for all, so I was testing out some of it, not all of it, tonight, just seeing like what maps I can go on and can't go on and stuff. And so far, I mean, obviously on Michigan, I've got Black River and Smithville. On Alaska, I was able to go from Northport to Mountain River, and I grabbed the high range gearbox while I was there, which is pretty goddamn nice. That's half the reason this thing's motoring along pretty well. And yeah, I was also able to go to Pedro Bay, which is obviously where I grabbed this as well. But I wasn't able to go to White Valley. It just says when you go to like the sort of square to travel through the gateway, it just says see details or something, and when you press it, it just says like this gateway isn't available right now. So yeah, I think the reason I originally thought all maps were just locked off is because I'm pretty certain when you're on Drowned Lands, you can't go to Quarry until you've completed, like, I think it's the survey things with the seismic vibrator module and that, and I believe also it wouldn't let me go to Zimnegorsk until I'd done a couple of contracts on Quarry, and it's not many, but yeah, that's kind of, I think when I originally did like the Michigan maps and the Alaskan maps, I kind of advanced pretty late, like I cleared quite a lot of one map before I even went to the next, and it was only really by the time I went to Drowned Lands, that was quite late in my playthrough, and yeah, I quickly tried to just skip ahead to Quarry and it wouldn't let me. So yeah, I'll test a few of the others, but I'm pretty sure, like I said, Drowned Land, Tamir, that section kind of, that region, stops you unless you complete certain missions. Yeah, for whatever reason, White Valley isn't available, so I'll have to do, I assume, X amount of missions on Northport and possibly Mountain River as well. Maybe it's just things like get the bridge built and all sorts, but yeah, obviously I was going to make a video on it, but I'd like to actually see what it is, unlock stuff and that, so I might save it for another time. And yeah, in the end, that's why I came into this mission, really. I built this drilling site the other day. This maintenance trailer's here. I remember doing this mission last time, and for one, it took me a hell of a lot longer than this took me to do. But while I was on the way, I probably most likely used the Navistar, I think, when I took it originally. I started, whether it was running low on fuel, I think, or it could have been repairs, it could have been both. I can't remember 100%, but either way, I basically dipped into the trailer and robbed some of the bits off that, and I'm kind of sure that by the time I got to the logistics base, it just wouldn't accept the trailer. I thought it might be the bugged mission, but I kind of also had a slight gut feeling that maybe it's because I've poached the thing anyway. So I had to restart the mission. It sent the maintenance trailer back to like this drilling site in Black River, and yeah, obviously back then I didn't really know where I was going and just all sorts like it. So it took me a good half an hour to an hour to complete this mission to begin with, and then I had to reset the bloody thing. Whereas now, yeah, there's a couple of things. Obviously, I got the ANK, I've got the high range gearbox. I know where I'm going, so I don't need to scout anything. And one other thing as well, it's kind of related to this whole like glitch thing where you can buy a new engine and all that and duplicate it. Again, I appreciate the info. There's a couple of people have been telling me in the comments and that. I've not been able to try it really on any of my trucks until now on this new playthrough, but say for example like this ANK, I believe it has like 47-inch tyres or something, and 51-inch tyres are the bigger ones, but obviously, as with most trucks, you can't put the bigger tyres on until you've got the raised suspension. But if you kind of do the similar thing where as you go to buy it, you'll also press down on the D-pad, like if you can go on to say a 47-inch tyre that has a 51-inch tyre below it, you can yeah, press down and X at the same time, and it kind of buys the 47-inch tyre, but the menu skips down to the 51-inch tyre, and even though it's locked, you can equip it. So right now on this ANK, that's kind of the reason I ended up taking it tonight, because it was a pretty nice test to just see what the situation is. Yeah, even though I've not got the raised suspension on this ANK, I have got the largest tyres on it, and to be fair, at the minute, because I just haven't got all the tyre options because of my level, I've only got, I believe it's all-terrain tyres on. Like, I couldn't go as far down as the off-road or whatever the other choices are. Yeah, but it's pretty nice that I was able to do it, and as you can see, there's not really hardly any suspension travel now between the tyres and the sideboard. And overall, all things considered, I think this ANK was doing pretty well tonight. Like, as far as not tipping goes, I've tried this before, and I tried it not too long ago when I did my top 10 favourite trucks. I think this one, I'm sure, was supposed to be number 8, and I meant it when I picked it, but when I was actually driving to do the video for like my number 8 favourite truck, I couldn't stop tipping the thing every 2 minutes, and then I tried going down to the smaller tyres, but then it just didn't feel quite like, didn't quite have the magic. I mean, as I sort of said yesterday, and it seems to be the case for all trucks, is like, the bigger the tyre is, the further you'll travel in one rotation of the gearbox or axle or whatever. So yeah, bigger tyres seems to equal more speed, and yeah, having these bigger tyres on, it's like the ANK is still quick, but because it's not raised up on the suspension, it's not tipping like a madman, and it doesn't need raised suspension really. There's enough space underneath it and everything. It's not catching its chin every 2 seconds. Anyway, now I'm on Smithville Dam. Keep getting confused with all the names of these maps. I've been going all over them tonight. Yeah, obviously I'm not going to bother scouting the map or anything. It's basically just the logistics base in the top left corner. Partly because I redid this mission the first time. I know the route pretty well. I also tested a few other vehicles along there in various videos. So yeah, once you get to Smithville, start heading up towards the garage and turn down here, and you've got to go to this warehouse, and you've got to grab, I believe it's vehicle spare parts. So the only reason I'm making that, like, just specifying it, is because you can get vehicle spare parts from here and service spare parts. And yeah, given, I mean, like, how small the writing is and all the rest of it, you could easily just go, oops, you know, just read spare parts, click X twice, get to the other side of the map, and suddenly realise you've got the wrong kind of spare parts. Yeah, I finally tipped now, but I was purposely taking the piss a bit there. I only had the garage down the road, so I knew, worst case, if I tipped, it was not going to be, like, any major rescue mission. Yeah, brought the Lodestar in the end. There's just one near the top of the menu, really, and I didn't think it'd have much problem. Yeah, that maintenance trailer is a little bit tippy in its own right, so that wasn't really helping the situation. You can see now, I've just grabbed, was it the service spare part or something, and yeah. And I didn't do it myself. I got the right things last time, but I remember a couple of people saying in the comments a little while back that I'm sure it was this mission where they grabbed the wrong one, basically. And yeah, didn't realise until they were at the other side of the map, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. At least I suppose you could recover back to the garage, which saves you almost half of the journey. And while I was there quickly as well, I could have span into the garage. That was my original idea. But since I ended up bringing the Lodestar anyway, I just thought I'd quickly rob the fuel off that. That saves me now. This warehouse, or whatever it's called, is like a repair station as well, so it fixed my ANK up fully anyway. So yeah, now I've robbed the fuel. We're off. And it was like a pretty perfect mission really for the ANK, because obviously I need 2 cargo slot spaces, which this thing's just permanently got a sideboard anyway. And yeah, it can tow this maintenance trailer no problem. Like I said, the trailer's a little bit tippy in its own right, and that wasn't necessarily helping the situation, but overall I definitely think the yeah, the suspension setup, having like the big tyres but the lowered suspension, is pretty good. And apparently, I assume it works for everything, but they were saying, like, for example, you could on the twin steer you can put the bigger tyres but have the lowered suspension. And I know various people in the past have said in the comments that some people prefer the bigger tyres on the twin steer. I do as well, partly because of the speed and everything else, but yeah, some people have also said they just bite the bullet and get the smaller tyres because it makes the twin steer a lot less tippy. So now it could be the best of both worlds. I'll have to give it a go. Anyway, when I was driving down the road, yeah, I completely forgot that roadblock was in the way, and basically I've got to go back to the warehouse. I mean, it's a little bit of an easy mission, like it wasn't a major inconvenience. I've only got to nip up the road back to that warehouse, and then I need the other version of the spare part. So what is it? I think it's the service spare part I've got to go and grab. 2 of them, yeah, just take it to the roadblock and that'll disappear. So Again, it was a couple of minutes out of my way, and to be honest, you get a little bit of XP and money, so money is not really an issue on this playthrough for me, but yeah, every little bit of XP I won't say no to. It's quite nice, well, as you're driving around, you see any trailers, I'm grabbing them, well, not grabbing them, but just driving near enough, because you get like 30 XP every time you find one, which every little helps. We'll get there one day. I think I'm on level 8 now, so I think when I get to level 9 I unlock like a fair few more sets of tyres and stuff, so I won't mind getting there. Yeah, it glitched a little bit there, but I made both them turns by the skin of my teeth. Nailed a tree, because I can. Loaf trained. In fact, that reminds me, I need to go and grab the upgrades for the loaf, because it's not... Well, I've actually used it a little bit in this playthrough, and it's been pretty decent considering it's a fairly stock loaf. Still pulls pretty well and everything, but yeah, it's not quite up to the loaf training standards. That trailer, by the way, like, I've already started dumping trailers everywhere. When I brought the Lodestar to flip the ANK, I was going to grab a fuel trailer. I hit the wrong button, like I didn't press down enough. I grabbed the wrong trailer, so I just disconnected it mid-journey and left it. Yeah, that's a little mission, like I say, nothing too special. Not a whole lot of XP in that, but yeah, a couple of minutes. Not too much of a problem, so we're back again. And yeah, from here we're basically going to cut down the hill, across the farm, across like the top of the map really, and yeah, you end up having to go to this logistics base a couple of times. It's not too bad, there's a few little trollish like bits that lean quite far, which I was part of the reason I was interested to see what this ANK does. And as you can see, the trailer is permanently trying to tip, but I honestly believe this ANK would have gone a lot more if I had the raised suspension on. I mean, not only does that literally raise your centre of gravity and everything, but I believe they've probably, for the sakes of balancing, but you know, upped it a bit to the point where it's like it purposely makes it a lot worse, because then it's kind of a trade-off. But the ANK is just not one of those vehicles that is catching its nose every few minutes anyway, beeping the horn, just trying to knock the fences out of the way rather than smashing me to bits. But yeah, it never really catches its nose, so it's not really an issue. And they said I can't drive. Been trained by the very best. See? That little move there. That's the galloping stallion. Learned that off the loaf himself. See there, I definitely reckon the ANK would have tipped with raised suspension. I'm pretty happy with the situation that it didn't, to be honest. Usually this thing's trying that bullshit every 2 minutes. Yeah, do you know, actually, speaking of bullshit, I was watching a video earlier, just some random, it was kind of unrelated, but it was clips within clips. And there was a video of like a health discussion, and there was a woman on there that was about 25 odd stone, which that's her own business. But while she was on there, she tried to say she eats plenty of salads, and she swims 2.5 kilometres a day. It's like, no you fucking don't. Like, who are you trying to convince? Your health insurance broker? Like, do you know how I know she hasn't swam for ages? Because she thinks the phrase, I swim 2.5 kilometres every day, is plausible to most people, let alone someone that's 3 times the size of an average human. And yeah, if that's the case, next time I sell a boat anchor on eBay, I'll say, oh, it's a fucking great swimmer. Swims like a beauty. Like, straight down doesn't count, does it? Oh, I'm not even sure. There's fish that don't swim 2.5 kilometres a day. And again, if anyone says I'm, what do you call it? Are you fat shaming? It's like, no, I'm bullshit shaming. You're going to go on TV to purposely just make shit up, then you deserve to be called out on it. Be like a homeless, toothless crackhead coming up to you and going, yeah, I never touch crack. Or some little, like, the skinniest person you've ever seen going, oh yeah, I do 8,000 press-ups every day. It's like, no you don't. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying. It's like, yeah, trying to get a fucking cheaper health insurance quote. Like, she walks in and they're like, yeah, it'll be 50 grand a year, and she's like, well, I swim 2.5 kilometres every day. Like, oh well, in that case, here's 50 quid, here's a voucher, welcome aboard. Anyway, that was a random rant, but I needed it. I had a bit of time to spare. I think I sort of shown a minute ago, I went to attempt that corner that was just down the hill from me, and yeah, I rolled it. Again, I was kind of trying to push my luck on purpose, because I wanted to know at what point this tips. I was using like a little bit of a cheat. It's basic. Well, I've shown it before loads of times. Not much of a cheat. I rolled it. I saved the footage quickly. I turned the game off and back on, and then it just reloaded me up like the last time it saved, which fortunately was about 30 seconds down the road. So yeah, it was pretty easy. Overall as well, I will just say with these tyres, when I first found the ANK, it had, I believe it's the off-road set of tyres, like the top set of off-road, and yeah, because like the way you do that, where you press down and buy something to what I was explaining to get the larger tyres on it, I couldn't do that on the off-road menu, so I've got all-terrain tyres on. The off-road tyres it comes with not only actually look pretty cool on the vehicle, they seem to suit it pretty well, but I've got a gut feeling they're probably going to be better. I didn't really try it a hell of a lot because obviously I wanted to, when I looked in the menu for the tyres, I seen that I was able, I had enough stuff unlocked that I was able to attempt that where I could try and get the bigger set of tyres on, so yeah, I just went for that straight away. And no regrets. See, again, that's the section that's probably the most awkward, that you got to be careful. That's why I kind of cut over that corner then, rather than going fully round it, because you can see the trailer's already trying to encourage me to tip over. I was getting ready to fling a winch out on that tree, but we're all good. And yeah, that was the mission, which, I mean, less than 17 minutes in total, and I had to go and clear that road thing, and I had to take the lodestar to flip this, so yeah, overall, pretty quick, successful mission. 420 XP, it's pretty nice, I agree, good number. 5 grand as well, that'll do, that'll keep my 10 million safe. Anyway, that's about it for today, I hope you enjoyed, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.